So the real success of this championship, to me, is not only what has happened this week. The real success is if I see the Belgian Federation numbers grow from 50,000 to 60,000 to 70,000.
The Euro Hockey Daily podcast is brought to you by XPS. Plan, prepare, perform and win with XPS by SidelineSports.com. The essential software platform for hockey coaches all over the world. Not just for coaches here at the European Championship, but for all ambitious coaches eager to improve every day. A must-have tool for clubs who want to track the development of their homegrown talents. For more info, check out xps.promo/hockey. Welcome to the Euro Hockey Daily.
Together here with Bob Verbeeck from the company Golazo at the last day of the European Championships here in Antwerp. Well, in the world of hockey, most will ask who if I mention the name of Bob Verbeeck and the name of Golazo. But in the world of sports marketing and sports business, well, both your names will turn heads already. If I'm not mistaken, you started some 30 years ago as a small sports consultant, local market here in Belgium. You grew, you sold your company to an internationally renowned organization, reacquired the company a couple of years later, and have since then been building a European-focused multinational in the world of sports, health, marketing, hospitality, events. I hope I'm not mistaken.
No, that's pretty much a good introduction to the company. Yes, we started in October of 1990, so next year will exist 30 years. We entered through as a consultancy agency working for brands to actually position them their products through sports investments. And then very soon afterwards started in the area of event organization.
Yep.
To be involved in hockey and working for federation is relatively new because in the last 25, 26 years we focused on our own properties. So we would mostly organize events, yearly recurrent events that are our property, things as the Tour of Flanders for amateurs or the Rotterdam Marathon,
Antwerp 10 miles.
Antwerp 10 miles.
Yeah.
We in that area we manage around 300 own events. But since the last 2 years, we've added a strategy of looking at championships, a bit like a similar agency in the Netherlands is called TIG Sports.
Yes.
So we have learned quite a bit from TIG and the way that they have positioned themselves on the Dutch market. And we would like to do the same, but position ourselves from Belgium on the European market.
Okay. You also come, like you mentioned now, from a world of your own sports and your own events, but also from a world of individual sports. Is it different working in a world of team sports, such as hockey?
Well, when you go to the core of our company, the reason why Golazo exists, our mission is to strive for a healthier and a happier world, but with a focus on daily exercise. And when you focus on daily exercise, you rather quickly come towards sports as running, jogging, biking. Also there, because it's very unstructured. So the need for events and personal advice and personal coaching is much more evident than within a federation setting. And it has only been in the last couple of years that we see that there is a need for a company to assist federations and teams in promoting their sport. But the essence remains the same. It is about inducing people to pick up sports, to make sure that sport is part of a daily habit, and that spirit also is an important part of even the championships like the ones we just organized together with the federation this last week. So the focus here is obviously on the top sport aspect of this European Championships, but at the same time trying to make the most of impact on the Belgian population. So not only on the people actually coming to the tournament, but also the people following the tournament via social media. So the real success of this championship, to me, is not only what has happened this week. The real success is if I see the Belgian Federation numbers grow from 50,000 to 60,000 to 70,000, and actually seeing that we have somehow helped, together with obviously the main actors which are the teams participating, to have clubs grow their memberships, to have a reflection with authorities to invest more in sports infrastructure and have more hockey fields, because that is becoming the real problem in this country at the moment. There's not enough fields, there's not enough infrastructure. So also they're sparking the interests of communities and village and cities on investing more, and hopefully that is then up to more kids picking up hockey.
Absolutely, yeah, but because that is well, if you look at it locally here in the Belgian market, the biggest problem will be infrastructure.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem there is that government at this moment is not used to really investing in preventing health issues through sports, which has become a habit in a couple of other countries. Not in many countries around the world, I think. But yeah, the Dutch example is a good example there, where the government is heavily investing in infrastructure, which makes the sports grow bigger. Because now the biggest challenge is there will be people asking about hockey because of the big event and the big promotion and the broadcasting and the good ambiance we've seen and the good vibes on social media and in other media. But the clubs have to follow, and the federation have to follow.
Yeah, and the cities will have to follow.
Yes.
And I mean, the fact that we don't have a permanent stadium, although our men's team is one of the best. I would like to say the best in the world, but at least one of the best in the world, being the world champion, now the European champion. Our women are continuously fighting for their. I mean, I was very enthused about the draw that they had against the Dutch team, which was a big thing for them. So they continue to battle their way up. But we still have no national stadium. But the problems around infrastructure are not only pertaining to hockey. They're everywhere. Every sport is struggling. There's not enough permanent beach volley structures. There's tennis. There are enough tennis clubs.
It's one of the
there
sports,
are enough football stadiums. And in the tennis clubs it's different, because there most of the venues are privately owned and privately run. In football stadiums there's a mix, but at the same time mostly privately run. So what I would see, and I think there's a big difference between the sport of hockey in the Netherlands with 250,000 players linked to the federation, and in Belgium 50,000. So, but also there you have a lot of clubs that are privately run. So I think we will see that in the future also in any country investing in top sports, that the infrastructure will follow. Now it will have to follow rather quickly, because at the moment when you have kids interested in your sport, you have to facilitate them, right? Because otherwise you're going to lose them, because they're going to turn to another sport.
Yep. No, I 100% agree. Why should federations leave it to the pros organizing these kinds of events? Because we have a tradition of doing it with a lot of volunteers in countries like Belgium and Holland, where there's a strong club culture. But we're seeing the evolution towards the pro event companies doing these kinds of organizations.
I think there's a number of advantages for federations to work with a private company. Obviously, the one is from a budget perspective. These events can be quite heavy for a federation, and a federation should really focus on promoting their sports through their club activities, making sure there's a good competition, there's a good and strong recruitment of young talent. I think that should be their focus.
Education of trainers.
Yes,
Yeah.
coaching. Now what you see is what we bring to the table for a federation is a certain expertise in sponsorship, in hospitality, in institutional approaches that are our daily business and are not the federation's daily business.
Yeah.
If I see, for example, this European Championship, I think we've developed a strong manual, a strong operating manual that could be used by other countries for other European championships.
And other sports probably.
And other sports. Also, that's another aspect, is obviously we organize running, cycling, hockey, tennis, basketball, and we take the best of each sport and try to put it together.
Yeah.
Now, what is most important is that there is a strong partnership between the federations and the clubs and the agency facilitating, which then doesn't stop at a championship.
Well,
Okay, I think also as a company now, having invested in and wanting to organize major championships, we also need to be in permanent discussion with the federation to help them also with their more difficult properties. We decided that not only would we help the federation in the European championships, but we also assure for them their Pro League competition, which is a much harder property to sell.
absolutely, because there also that we know that the Pro League was in the concept a wonderful idea. There was a company, a British company, similar to yours, willing to invest and join the FIH in this quest of making the Pro League a success, business-wise as well. They guaranteed the budget that would have made all promises made by the FIH true. But there the FIH decided, no, we're gonna, because of ownership fears or whatever the reasons, we don't know everything obviously, but they decided, no, we still want to do it ourselves, which has led to a first year of Pro League, which has been a success in some ways, but obviously not a success in a lot of other ways. There were empty stadiums in Germany, there's budget deficiencies, there's would it have made sense for an international federation like the FIH also to immediately use a pro organization in this?
I think it's always good to join forces. Yeah? So in the case of the Pro League, it might make sense to work with national agencies in each different country and supervising them. Obviously, it was a first year. It was very challenging for us in Belgium because obviously we were not only selling the Pro League, but at the same time selling the European Championships. Next year, I think we will have a fantastic Pro League season in Belgium.
Okay, because you focus on just one event.
Yes, and we've built up this database now of companies wanting to invest in hockey, seeing here and actually living the spirit and also following it on national television. Yeah. I think one of the main successes of this week not only is that we were able to attract a crowd of nearly 60,000 people to the venue, but mostly that the matches were aired on national television, open channel, and that we had a huge following on social media. So there's a lot more people that are talking about hockey this week than have ever than ever before. Yeah. Although we've had a world.
Have you measured it? Because we have this feeling, and I share the feeling with you that this is the case. But has this been measured already?
Yeah, and we will come out with an extensive report after the championship on social media following, but it has been a very essential part of us promoting this tournament, making sure that we had every night we had hockey on open air channel TV. Yesterday we were on 1. So I'm very excited to see the numbers tomorrow on how many people actually followed the final. But also I can see that we've invested a quite substantial budget in social media, which also where we're seeing a lot of support, and it's obviously with some of the channels in social media. We're also targeting a very young audience. So we've used not only obviously Facebook and LinkedIn, but also a lot of Instagram
stories and
so So it has. I'm quite excited to see the social media following on the tournament too.
A big mantra in marketing and in sponsoring is always for sponsors to invest €1 into the sponsoring and add €2 more for making your sponsor money work for you. Is it also that reason that it makes sense to hire an outside pro company, because they can make their money from the 2 added euros to the sponsoring budget, whereas a federation would have made do with just the €1 and maybe a little bit of the rest?
Yeah, and I think even properties that are completely organized by federation have always a number of stakeholders from the private sector involved in their tournament. Because an agency that invests in a or a brand that invests in a property will always look for a marketing agency actually helping them value their investment better. What has made this property for us unique is that we invested a number of years ago in a brand activation agency, Sportizan, with quite a bit of experience in team sports, where as from the onset, Golazo didn't have a lot of knowledge around team sports, so also that partnership between 2 sister agencies has worked very well. I mean, we had obviously a bit more expertise in setting up larger events from an event management perspective. They certainly had the team background. One of our senior people at Sportizan actually is the president of a hockey club. Okay. That helps.
Yeah, that helps.
And we had the expertise of their marketing activation. So we have we've had a nice mix, which has led to a first successful championship. Obviously, we'll have to evaluate it completely, and we still have a big match coming up, especially for the Dutch.
Finally, a big match for the Dutch as well in this championship.
Yes, but no, not finally. They got a bronze too. I mean, obviously, if you've had the success that the Dutch team has had in this sport. Maybe bronze isn't something to be valued, but I think it is.
Probably within a couple of years I'll say it differently, because but we're spoiled and we only aim for gold, and if you don't get gold, you're not satisfied.
Yeah, that's true. But okay, it's also nice to see. I mean, we had the Belgians had a very rough match against the Germans, which could have turned out completely different.
Absolutely. But thankfully for the event and for Belgian hockey, it turned out the way it did, because it was a promotional stunt for the hockey.
Yes, it was. But and they played. They reacted as lions. They could have sat back, but they reacted very aggressively, and it was a fantastic promotion for the sport. A lot of people that have never spoken to me about hockey started calling me. And on Saturday I had a lot more friends than I ever thought I had, because the tickets were gone.
I can imagine. Okay, but relating to that, double question: what should hockey do to become a more marketable sport? And also, why should sponsors look more towards hockey as one of the elements in their sponsoring mix?
There's a double question there. What should the federations do? I think they're on the right track. Everything has to do in promoting a sport. A lot of things has to do with visibility. And obviously that used to be very easy. You make a huge TV deal and everybody follows it, and IMG was a master at that, and they're still a master at that. But okay, the world obviously of media is completely changing and has changed, but is providing a lot of opportunities. Where people thought, okay, it's going to be very much harder to find our media target groups. It's actually with the personalization, it's becoming much and much easier. So I see just investing in production, and producing the right imagery around the sport, and then distributing it in the broadest way possible is obviously what a sport like hockey needs to do.
Yeah. So you still we still need broadcasting as well.
Oh yeah, of course, and I mean one of the sport I'm an Olympian in track and field, and track and field is undergoing a tremendous difficulty. Also because little of track and field is aired on open channel.
Yeah, and they only get aired once every 4 years.
Yes, and sometimes with the World Championships or European Championships. But and we see that because we run two of the biggest meet, the Memorial Van Damme in Brussels and the Berlin meet, ISTAF Berlin, and we have a rough time when we don't have a World Championships or Olympic game preceding our competition to fill up the stadium. So it's the same thing as, okay, what kind of content do you make? How do you package that, and how do you disperse that so people you continue to have your sport reach as many people as possible?
So one of my hang-ups of the last couple of years has been there's been a lot of innovation in our sports. We've innovated a lot in rules and stuff like that, and my feeling has been, okay, let's stop there, because you also need to be recognized as a sport, and it has to be the same from recreational level to the top level, so that people can recognize and relate to the sport. And my feeling is that the innovation should continue in the way we show our sport.
Yeah, and I think we're doing that. I mean, the good thing is that we have these championships now in Belgium, that you get feedback from people that that don't know the sport.
Yeah.
And basically, when people talk to me about hockey that are pretty much ignorant about hockey, they say, what I really liked is that the players, they don't stop the game. I think that's fantastic. In football, they all try to stop the game as much as possible.
Fall down.
The second thing is that that there's no discussion with the referees. There's no, and the third thing, that there's no violent behavior. People are polite.
Respectful.
Yes, respectful towards their opponent. So those three aspects, I think, are a main seller for the hockey sport. And it should be emphasized more. But okay, it's everybody that comes and sees the game immediately remarks it.
No, I 100% agree. So what should sponsors, why should they consider hockey more in their portfolio?
The same reasons really, and also I think there's the way that the hockey sport has grown is that in I think most of the big and also because it has come from a very amateur point of view, is that most of the hockey players have not neglected their educational level. Most of them have continued to study, and obviously that also shows in their behavior. So it's and with the war for talent for a lot of companies, to be able to link to hockey is actually very linked to probably the values that they want to live by as a company. So there's a lot of similarities. And yesterday I talked. One of my guests was the CEO of Deloitte, Belgium, who said that he had 3 of the hockey players as employees in their company, and he couldn't have had better employees. So that is those values, to embrace those values, are the reason why companies should invest.
Okay. Thanks very much for your time.
Welcome. Thank you.
Together here with Tom van Kuik from Rabobank. As usual in banks and big corporations, you will probably have a big title, so I will let you pronounce your own title.
It's manager sponsorships.
Okay,
It's fine for today.
That's fine for today. That's an understandable title.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of what is known in marketing as the golden circle of Simon Sinek, the why, how, what circle. But still, if I do it backwards now, then if I'm talking about sponsoring about Rabobank, who is the sponsor worldwide of hockey since almost
21 years.
Well, it feels like forever.
Yeah.
If you do it inversed, if we're talking about the what is, you do fan days, you sponsor big events, you sponsor club events, you sponsor clubs financially. That's the what part. But if you go to the how part, is then okay, you choose to do hockey, you choose to do federation, you choose to do clubs mainly.
Yes.
And you choose to do both financial support and expertise support.
Yes.
But then you come to the center. Why? Why do you sponsor hockey? Why do you sponsor?
Well, our sponsorships are really all have to do with our mission.
Yeah.
Our mission is growing a better world together, and the mission consists of 4 parts, 4 themes. And one of those themes is really the cooperative theme, and that's the doing things together.
Yes.
So from our background as a farmers bank, we strongly believe in doing things together. And if you look at the Dutch society and you zoom in, you see that our clubs and federations, but mainly the clubs in sports and culture, have a huge role in the society. And it's really important for people to get together and do what they're passionate about. And that can be sports, can be culture. And hockey in the sports domain is one of the great examples in the Dutch society of how to organize club life. It's professional, with great volunteers, professional clubs, no hassle around the fields. It's a clean sport. So hockey is for us a good example how we think a corporation or a group of people should unite themselves and do what they're passionate about. So that's why we sponsor sports, and particularly hockey. And the other side, of course, from the why is that the Dutch Hockey Federation has huge events in the Netherlands almost every year. And for us, that is one of the outlets of our sponsorship strategy to tell the big public what we stand for. So that's the why, I think.
Okay, thanks. What has your sponsoring hockey contributed to our sport, but also what has sponsoring hockey really contributed to the goals of Rabobank?
Well, sponsorships are really, it's not a direct conversion rate. So we measure on our mission, of course, and the mission consists of many things, but we measure on the impact of our sponsorships, how people perceive us as a social bank. So that's what we do, and that's I think that's the main part. Of course, you do business around hockey clubs and business clubs from the bigger clubs as well. So that's a business part, but it's not a direct conversion. It never is. It's just a brand preference. And what we contribute to the hockey sport, I think, is that we make stronger clubs locally. And the strong clubs locally have as I just mentioned, a very important role in the society. But they also they raise our talents for the Dutch team, Olympic team. So they have 2 roles: the social role and a talent role.
Okay, thanks. Why should others consider sponsoring hockey? Not only banks, but other companies.
What I just told, it's a very clean sport. It's a great example how to organize a sport. Great federation. This is the Dutch part, of course.
Absolutely.
Great federation, great role models, clean guys and girls with a positive attitude. I think.
No doping, no
doping,
hassle.
no hassle, no fights. It's very fast. It's very technical. I think the international federation is also very keen on new experiments in the sports with the regulations and the video referee and everything.
Innovations.
Great examples to other sports, I think, especially soccer with their video
Referee,
Is it a referee or is it a video joker?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think it's a great example on all these parts. So I think if you want to sponsor a sport, then hockey is really a great example, and they have great events, as I just mentioned as well. Great events in Holland, a huge amount of fans. So if you want to have an impact, hockey sports is really a great example.
Yeah. Is there a reason why you don't sponsor internationally as well? Is that because Rabobank is mainly a Dutch bank?
Yes, it's mainly a Dutch bank, and hockey sport is in the world. In the Netherlands, it's a big sport, and in the rest of the world, it's smaller.
Yeah.
We use it internationally as well, but we use the Dutch team. So when they play matches in Australia, for example, we have a huge bank in Australia as well. We invite the Dutch clients of the Rabobank,
networking.
Yes, and India at the last World Cup in India. We also invited our Dutch clients in India and took them to the Dutch team, meet and greet. And so we use it internationally, but we focus on the Dutch team.
Okay. What should hockey improve to retain, delight, and attract new sponsors?
I think this is the discussion I have with the federation. I think hockey should renew its events. So it's organized great and it's very professional, but we were the first to have these sorts of World Cups and European Cups in this format. I think we should make the next step and take it to the next level.
And then you mean more entertainment or stuff like that?
Yeah, not only entertainment, because the main part is still hockey, I think. The people, they go there for hockey. But I think to attract new fans, new audience, you should broaden your scope a bit with these events and turn them around. Like the big step they made with the World Cup in '98 in Utrecht. That was
in the soccer stadium,
yes,
football stadium.
Was the first of its kind, and now you have to do that again and take it to the next level.
Yeah. Is there something specific you're already thinking about?
Yes,
and you can share, or
there's a lot of ideas we are discussing with the federation at this point, and because we are a big sponsor of the Lowlands Festival as well, we include
that's a Dutch music festival.
One of the biggest one.
Absolutely.
We have asked the chairman of the Lowlands Festival to help us with thinking about how to improve and renew these events. So that's one of the things.
That's bringing two worlds together and learn from each other.
You can always learn from each other. So have new insights and just see what happens.
Okay. Thanks very much for your time and for your insights and especially for your sponsoring as well.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks.
Thanks for listening. Join us again tomorrow for a new episode of the Euro Hockey Daily on your Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or at studiohockey.com. Enjoy your hockey. Bye bye.
PS. Scratch that part. Unfortunately, we won't be back tomorrow because the European Hockey Championships are over. Congratulations to Belgium for winning the men's championship and to the Netherlands for winning the women's. We will be back within a week or so with one more final episode recorded here at the European Hockey Championships. We spoke to Marijke Fleuren not just about this European Championship, but also about a very important project, equally amazing. So stay tuned and see you later. And meanwhile, enjoy your hockey.